Hi everybody, I'm just out of Ponte Vedra. There are so many pilgrims passing by right now walking along the river. It's really, really beautiful. And this topic I've been lightly reflecting on for quite a while, and I'll tell you more in a little bit. I even reflected on the nature of this topic today before even undertaking this solitary path for this month. But the phrase comes from an awesome poem called Dark Night of the Soul by John of the Cross. And I think we can all relate to that. I think that many times in our lives we go through what we might call a dark night. And dark nights are usually times where things within us or around us are destroyed. We go through loss, we go through shakeups, we go through things that we leaned into or relied upon or trusted letting us down or being dismantled or simply being annihilated. And ultimately it happens within us that everything we know, everything we thought we knew, even the things that are very basic and fundamental end up at some point or another transitioning us into a new and a deeper knowing if we're spiritually evolving. At least that's what I believe. And there's a lot of mystics that would attest to this. And this line comes from this poem that most everybody that I share the poem with or that they know of the poem can relate to, the dark night of the soul. But some miss the real nature of the poem. Some, when they read Dark Night of the Soul, can align with the loss and the destruction and the darkness part and fail to read deeper into the poem to see that John is actually speaking from a place of final union. He's actually accomplished, if you might want to put it playfully, the big escape from the illusion of who and what he is into the reality of who and what he is. And this poem is something of a celebration of how that happened. So let me read the first stanza for you. On a dark and secret night, starving for love and deep in flame, oh happy lucky flight, unseen I slipped away. My house at last was calm and safe. So he's speaking very much to the fact that when he truly surrendered into the real unknowing of life, the real darkness of life, and when that came upon him in that soul evolution, he connected to the reality, the inner reality that at his very core, he was starving for love. He was deep in flame. And it was that flaming in his own soul that led him even more into the darkness in this total union between him and his beloved, which he calls God. Now, I love other lines of the poem even more, but this line, my house at last was calm and safe, he says numerous times, which says to me, this was really important for him to name. A metaphor for his own being, that he had finally arrived to a place where he himself was established securely and stably as calm and as safe. Now, calm is easy to grasp, right? We all want to experience that. In fact, many people that I work with come because they want to have more equanimity, more calmness, more, if you want to put it, peace in their lives. But I rarely hear someone say, I want to become safe. I want to become a safe place to abide day in and day out. And John, in this Dark Night of the Soul, is attesting to the fruit of his surrender as establishing him as utterly trustworthy to himself. Now that is, to me, that is like an incredible vantage of what it means to be whole and authentic. When we're trustworthy with ourselves, we are true with our word with ourselves. The inner word we speak is aligned with truth. Do you ever speak a word that's untrue within yourself? I know I do. I have words that are true, and they have the fruit of creating it to be safe, to be alone with myself. And I have words that speak inwardly that aren't true, whether they're a perspective on myself, a perspective on life, a perspective on a problem that I might have. And it makes me unsafe to myself. Do you get the subtlety of that nuance and the amazing fruit that is there for us? That in our surrender into the unknowing, in our surrender into the living flame at our very center, we can become trustworthy. Now, one of the questions that I had before undertaking this journey was, very honestly, would I be safe for myself? Because I wanted to do it in solitude. I wanted to meet a million pilgrims, which I've done, but I really wanted to walk in silence and solitude. And these last 4 years, while they have been filled with bounty and filled with much fulfillment in many ways, they've also kicked my butt. In fact, I had about 18 months that was really like the book of Job before the happy ending. So if you haven't read the book of Job, read the book of Job. That is where the hand of spirit is just heavy on you, that no matter what you do, no matter how well you show up, no matter how wholehearted you give yourself, the rug just gets pulled out again and again and again. And it's not in correlation to not being aligned or not. It seems irrespective of whatever happens. And so I really wondered, because of some of the trauma of coming through this really rough time for me, would I be safe to myself? I mean, would I make my trip miserable because the PTSD of some of the survival aspects of coming through the time? Because I'm not wholly on the other side. I'm tasting the other side, but I'm not 100% there yet. Would I become a burden to myself walking in silence? And what I came down to is, at least for me, my greatest happiness is communion with my beloved in silence. It's my greatest happiness. And I would be safe with that motive alone, even if I had days where I was not trustworthy to myself, where I was not showing up in peacefulness to myself. I would still be about what makes me personally happiness. And my hunger, that driving flame at my center, drew me here. In fact, there have been moments of real deep exultation and glory, like from the book of Hosea, you read, I will draw her into the wilderness, and there I will speak to her heart. So becoming safe to ourselves is a really worthy and noble aspiration. And the process of doing that is being drawn into the wilderness of the unknown. See, all around me, the unknown waters and the unknown trees and the gnarliness and the shafts of light that come in and the times when darkness occludes the light. All of that is the being drawn into the place where we become trustworthy. So I rested into my own answer for that, and that, you know what, I don't need to be safe if I'm not totally 100% safe yet, because my beloved is safe, and that is the one that I seek, and that is the one that I am saying yes to. So what about you? Is your house, that is your inner being, is it calm and safe? And if you're finding that it's not safe, that there are ways that you're not true to yourself, that there are ways that when you pose the question in all honesty, you're still lying to yourself a little bit, or fudging here and there, or trying to control something here and there, or holding a perspective that causes you stress, Is there a way you can surrender into the arms of the beloved today so that you can discover what it means to be safe? For that beloved is ever present. You can work in the presence of that beloved because that beloved is ever present, loving you, ever present. Not present every once in a while, ever present. Even if the beloved, in your words, is simply your divine self, capital S, ever present, loving you. Let me say it one more time, because it's good to hear it again, right? I love hearing it again and again. Ever present, loving you. May we awaken into that amazing joy. May we awaken into the lover with that amazing joy and find that we are on what John says, oh happy, lucky flight. Starving for love and deep in flame. Not touching the flame and backing away, but deep in flame. We depart. Because why? Our house is calm and safe. I enter now into the spiritual route starting tomorrow on, which the solitude magnifies. So may the fruit of the Facebook Lives for these last couple days be the magnification of trusting that deeper dive into solitude after today. I love you all. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for showing up. And thank you for inspiring me. Much love. Bye. Mwah.